What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Steve's Project Car Garage. My name is Steve. Tonight we'll be working on the Spitfire again, trying to adjust some more of this metal work that's sitting behind me here. We're going to see if we can just pick up where we left off on the last video, clean up some of these welds, bust some more rust, and keep the progress moving forward. Stick around, it'll be a good video. Alright, so in the last video, we had Chris come over here and bust up a bunch of rust. We unearthed the nightmare that this trunk panel is. And I went ahead and I welded in some patches here, and we also did some fixing on the rotisserie. So what I want to do tonight is just start cleaning up all this old weld from past repairs that I had done back when I didn't know how to weld, and try to make good of it. And then if time permits, I'm going to bust out the rest of this rust with the wire wheel to just at least get it started. And we'll go from there. All right, so here's a little sit rep. So I went ahead and I cleaned up my welds over here as well. I kind of exposed a few little pinholes, so I'm going to fill those in. It's a little rough, but it ain't bad. I went ahead and I ground back some of the paint here, and you can see that crack that I had mentioned in one of the previous videos. And I just took a mallet, essentially hammered that in. There was a crack there from before. So I'm gonna go ahead and close that up. And then I got a little spot down here, which is really kind of thin, but I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and put the welder down low and just kind of seal that up a little bit. And then a little hole right there. Once I get that done, then this inner wheel well will pretty much be complete. So obviously I still got a little bit of cut work maybe I'll do here to just kind of clean these edges up, but that's about it. So let's get cracking with the welder. All right, so things are looking pretty good actually. So I went ahead and I welded up the crack. It's not pretty, but it's a good weld. I went ahead and I just hit up a couple of other small little spots that I found as I was going through. Closed up this little hole, although now that I'm looking closer at it, I still see one little spot. So I may actually end up trying to come through here and closing this up a little bit more. There's a little pinhole right there. And a couple little more pieces I need to do. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to bust up the welder and I'll address those, but then I'm going to come up here. I went ahead and I kind of ground back some of this stuff, and I'm going to come through and I'm going to re-weld this whole seam and try to get it nice and flat and well penetrated. So let me get that going. All right, sorry about the fan noise, but I'm just trying to air it out because it's a little bit smoky in here, but here we go. Those welds are way better than it was just 10 minutes ago. So I'm pretty happy with this. Of course, I'll grind those down just a little bit, but I mean, I'm not going to go too crazy because frankly then you're not going to see it. I'm kind of proud of those. Nice little stack of dimes there going with the MIG welder. All right, so I'm going to clean it up a little bit, and then I am going to go ahead and bust out the wire wheel and get this all cleaned up now, and then kind of go from there and see what else we can knock out before we call it a night. All right, so here's what we've done. I've gone ahead and I cleaned up those welds a little bit, flattened it out. And I came over here to the floor pan and I cleaned this up, kind of gave it a nice cleaner edge, laid down the welds finally after a while not being able to do that. And I'm going to come through now with the welder and I'm going to zip these holes up, get them all nicely filled, because again, when I did this the first time I was on my back. So now I have a straight down shot. I'm going to go ahead and take advantage and get these cleaned up. And then I think we'll tackle this section afterwards. Still got some time tonight, so let's keep moving on. All right, so I got those welded up. Definitely looking a lot better. I went ahead and ground them down. Pretty happy with that. I still have to come through here and kind of grind these down a little bit. I got a few little spots like right there that I need to go ahead and hit. But I mean, these are the welds that I did forever ago to put the tunnel in. They're pretty decent. So I mean, I may just give them a little bit of a clean, and then of course I'll get this side when I get onto the other side. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how that came through. So now you see the wire wheel. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a quick vacuum so I'm not flinging dirt, dust, and debris in my face. But then I'm gonna go ahead and finish off what Chris started on that side, and I will finish wire wheeling this and then probably wrap it up for the evening and go from there. All right, so there we have it. So again, more wire wheel treatment on the bottom. You can still actually see some of the original paint, which is kind of cool. The laurel green peeks through here and there. The rust is not horrible. Yes, it is definitely pitted in some areas, but it's mainly just surface rust. I mean, it is solid. There's a lot of good metal there, so I'm happy about that. I went ahead and started kind of blue taping things. Anybody who's bought a new house will understand the whole blue tape thing. So all of these marks are all spots that I still need to come back through and do. I mean, there's a number of small holes here, there, and everywhere, some of which are bigger than others, like that. Some of which are just really kind of small spots like that I just kind of want to touch up. And so what I'm going to try to do for these smaller holes is I'm just going to try to throw the welder down on the A setting, which is nice and low, and see if I can just try to lay some metal down, maybe throw a copper backer on the other side of it to try to fill it in. Some of these bigger holes, like this guy here, I'll probably cut out a small circular piece of metal and I'll weld it in there to just fill the hole. And then I'll probably end up kind of digging this out a little bit, making a small patch or something there. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible because I don't really feel like making 900 different patches. So I'll fill what I can and then patch what I have to. So that's really the extent of what we've got going on there. And then again, of course, over here, the metal over on this side seems to be somewhat okay, but what I might do is just kind of pry it apart and just kind of hit it with phosphoric acid and then maybe stuff some Master Series down in there. Same over here, and then I'll end up re-welding all of this back up, and then I'll cut this out and make a patch to go pretty much here. I'll probably end up doing it as maybe just one patch across here to the middle and a second patch over that way. I don't know. Still haven't thought about that totally, but that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. And then once we do that, then that's going to leave this center section pretty much done. I'll have to come back through and hit it with a red Scotch-Brite to clean it up, and then we will paint it, prime it first, paint it, and then Raptor line. And then over here, again, still same thing I got to do on this side that I did already over here, which isn't bad. And then I got to come through and I got more blue tape stuff I got to do on this side. Got some small little holes here that I need to fill. Then I got to come up with a small little patch for this spot right here because that's pretty gnarly. And then just a couple little small bits and pieces here and there. So it's not bad. Not bad. This is going to be a fun one. Again, it's going to be another little patch, but got to close these up. And this was actually done from the dreaded previous owner. So don't be the DPO, guys. And on this side, I got that I got to deal with that. Got some small patches. Nothing big though, because I already got a lot of this previously when I was working over here. And then I got to clean this up. Again, this is some of my early welding, so got to try to flatten that out and then fix it up. And I think we'll have it looking pretty schmidt like we do over here. So not bad. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. It's about 9:45. I'm filthy, and I could use a bowl of ice cream. So we're going to go ahead and close this first part of the video out. We'll pick you up in the next day.
Several days later.
Good Saturday morning, everyone. Welcome back. I'm going to start working on these patches, like I had talked about, where all the blue tape, as I called it, marks are. And I'm going to just kind of work these out off camera. That's going to be kind of mundane, but I'll give you a progress update as I get cracking through it. All right, so it's been a few minutes. Got a lot of work done. I ended up welding up all these holes. So all my blue tape marks are now filled with weld. Of course, I did not do patches on these. I actually just went ahead and filled them up, like you can see here. It doesn't look too bad. They actually did not end up chasing a lot of holes. It was kind of pulled back to the metal that could be welded, and it worked out well. So now I got to build a small patch here. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to try to incorporate this drain hole, and I got to do that. And then I got to do this one. And yeah. Once that's done, I'm going to have a lot of grinding to do. Got to come and grind through here. There's a couple of holes here that I actually should address. I think these are actually supposed to be here. These are screw holes, so I'm going to leave those, I believe. Although maybe I'll just fill them while I'm here. And then if I need to make new holes, I can just re-drill them. And then clean up work here. So far, good progress on this. And then to finish up, I'll go ahead and knock this out. So let's keep going on this, and I'll check back in with you in a few. All right, so we're back. Been busy. So I got these welds flattened down. Everything looks pretty good. I realized that I missed a spot, so I'll have to come back and get that. And then I put in this patch over here. I got to clean up this hole a little bit. This is like a drain plug, so I got to just kind of, I don't know, take a grinding stone or something and just try to clean that up a little bit. And then I put this patch in. So yeah, this one was a bit more tedious. I did use a little bit of a cut and butt method, and I think it worked out pretty well, although I have yet to look at it from the other side. So before I go ahead and wrap up, we will definitely do that. I came through here also, and I ground down the welds, both sides. So that all looks pretty good now. I still have a few spots here that I'm gonna have to address. Nothing major, just a couple of little extra tacks to kind of fill in some holes, some voids. I ground down a little too far there, unfortunately, but hey, it is what it is. So yeah, let's go ahead and rotate this guy now and take a look at it from the top and see what all that work looks like. All right, so we're back over. One thing I find funny is that we keep finding these little lizard eggs that keep coming out of the car as I rotate it. So that's kind of funny. I have no idea where they're coming from, but they're coming out. So my welding job actually doesn't look to be terrible. I mean, obviously I'm going to have some work to do to try to grind these down, make them flat, but I mean, it did the trick. So what I'm going to have to do is the light test, and I'm going to just kind of shine some bright lights through it from the bottom, take a look to see if I can find areas that I missed or that still need to be tapped. Like I can see one right here and one right there. But once I do that, get this all ground down, I think it'll be pretty decent. So I'm pretty happy with it. Let me swing over to this other side though, over here, and we'll look at that patch. All right, awesome. Not bad. I'm pretty happy with it actually. Again, just some more grinding, and I think it'll be in pretty decent shape. So I'm pretty happy with that all together. And again, over here you can see where I missed a spot, so I'll bust that open a little bit and fill it in. But that's pretty decent. Although when you look at it from this angle, you can see specks of light coming through, but that's okay. All right, so it is now actually Sunday afternoon. I ended up stopping yesterday for a while, and now what I'm going to go ahead and do is pick back up. I'm going to go ahead and start with cutting out this. I think that what I'm going to end up doing is using this metal up here, and I'll probably do this in 2 patches. I was originally going to try to just do it maybe in 4, but I think 2 is probably going to be our better option. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to cut downward and try to break some of the big booger welds that are in there. And then I'm going to make a cut that's going to go right underneath all these supports, because this all seems to be decent. And then that way I can try to make the, well, now that I'm looking at that differently, it will probably end up being 4 patches, because these are all different heights. So yeah, I'm going to cut across here, replace this metal, come up, cut across, replace this metal up to maybe here, and then do the same on that side. Instead of trying to salvage this, I think it's best to just go ahead and get it out of here. So now that I have my plan, thank you guys for helping me talk that out. Let's do this. there we go. So we've got some pretty good penetration, as you can see, all the way through from my plug welds that I made. Went ahead and got this guy welded in. Not the prettiest in the world, but it's strong. It's a lot better than it was before, that's for sure. So essentially, now the process is going to be to do the same thing for up along here. And then on the other side, same thing. The wash, rinse, repeat process. But that's gonna do it for this video. You guys don't need to watch me do that 3 more times. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it on up here. Thanks so much for following along. Please go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and click the bell to get those post notifications. And just remember, whenever you're working on project cars like this, don't be that dreaded previous owner. Cheers.